Hey, welcome to the podcast for people whose mamas died by people whose mamas died. It's called No Mama No Manual. I'm Tiana.
I'm Brittany.
I almost said I'm T 2 times.
You technically are T 2 times.
I am, but that would have been different from the regular thing. But today we are talking about how grief shows up in our intimate relationships. So lately we've been talking about how grief shows up. We've done how it shows up in our accomplishments in work, how it shows up in our friendships. And today we talking about love.
As if that shit wasn't complicated enough without grief, right?
Yeah, as if.
Girl, the ghetto.
It is quite ghetto. Yeah.
Rat-ta-ta-ta.
I don't even really know where to start here. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know.
All right, well, let's get into my business. So, I got married 6 weeks after my mom died.
Okay.
Yeah, would not recommend that.
Me neither.
Would not recommend that. We were like, life is short. You can die unexpectedly. We love each other. We were engaged.
Mm-hmm.
We had a kid. Let's do this.
Okay.
But I don't think we knew how I was going to be different.
Say more.
Marriage is hard. New marriage is hard, period. And we had to do it in the context of like, some days I'm not getting out of bed. And I think it was just hard. It was just an added level of trying to navigate something together that really ain't had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
You know? And he became, for me, an easy kind of like take everything out on, which was unfair. And in some ways, he just was not helpful, which was also unfair. And so there was just a lot of who's being more unfair. Right. And so it was hard. It was hard. I think that was just not, I think we should have taken more time to I should have taken more time to heal. Not that I knew that, because it's not like I had ever had a dead mama before.
There was no manual.
You see what I'm saying? But I would not recommend that. If you're listening, if you're watching, don't do that shit.
Don't do that.
I don't know how many weeks you gotta wait, but 6 is not enough.
Say yes, man. Okay. I feel like it didn't allow you to have like a honeymoon phase.
I don't think we would have had one anyway. We had a baby. I was in school.
Sad. Oh, yeah.
And I think we had accepted that. We talked about that. It was like, we just knew we was in the gutter anyway. Med school sucks. He was also in law school, so we weren't having fun anyway, you know?
Okay.
So I don't think the romance part wasn't the part that I feel like I missed out on. It was just the space to, you know, we got married and there were certain things he was looking for from his wife.
Oh, that you didn't have the capacity for at the time.
What? Like, you know, and there were certain things that I was looking for from my husband, and he was like, I ain't signed up for that. You know? And I wasn't communicating, right? So that was the part where I was unfair to him. I was like, you should just know. If you love me, you're my husband, you should know.
How would he have known?
You see what I'm saying? It wasn't very logical. And he was doing the same thing, right? Like, you should know. You should know why I think this way. Well, no, because I actually grew up with different life experiences, different, you know, parents, different beliefs. And so we was just, grief showed up.
Man.
Grief showed up.
I think realizing everybody wasn't raised like you is, one, a tough pill to swallow, but so necessary for dealing with other humans in their human experience.
Even if they was raised like you,
they got different versions. Like people that you got different versions.
Everybody's different. And you think you're right. Like, that is what marriage, and eventually we got divorced. But yeah, that's what marriage taught me, and divorce taught me. And then getting back together taught me. What a mouthful.
It has been a ride.
But just that people don't think like you. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. People don't process like you, and that's a good thing. It was a good thing that he didn't need to be alone all the time, and with his grief about my mother's death, because then who would have been with the baby?
Who was gonna be with the baby?
Right.
Dang.
It was a good thing. Differences should be celebrated more than they should be targeted
or tolerated.
Yeah, they should be tolerated. Sometimes that's the other thing that I will say about this whole thing is that, like, in general, in intimate relationships, but particularly when you're grieving and dealing with intimate relationships and friendships, sometimes it's just gonna, like, you're gonna demote people to "I tolerate you right now." Because that's all you have the capacity to do. And that's gotta be okay.
Yeah. Wow. I think that because I date, but not a lot. And I think the one guy, the first person I tried to date after my mom passed away, I think we met on Thanksgiving at like some random thing. And I realized that my emotional capacity was very low.
Say more.
Well, I already had I was skeptical about him. Just because I was skeptical about niggas in general after a really strange breakup, right? So I was skeptical about him, but my desire to go deep was absolutely non-existent. Like, I would rather just talk to you about the weather right now. Like, even attempting to have sex was like, nope, don't touch me. Get away from me. Like, I don't want to cuddle. I don't want
intimacy in general.
Yeah, intimacy was hard. It was really, really difficult. It did later come out that I think he was dealing with other people, which was fine. Like, you're not my man. But let's get some honesty up in here. And he didn't quite have it. I also cut all my hair off in the middle of our dealings, and it was like, oh, you're bald headed now.
What that mean?
I don't know. It just was a thing that happened, right? Like, I reached a point in my journey where I no longer wanted to eat any animal products, and I am now bald headed, and welcome to that, right? Because that's not where we started, right? And he had not known me long enough to be like, okay, I'll still fuck with you anyway, right? Because I feel like sometimes changes like that, the men, they don't be knowing what to do. They don't be knowing what to do anyway, but they certainly don't know what to do with that. Like, okay, that's a lot. That has happened now. What are we doing? But yeah, my capacity for intimacy was depleted because I don't know if it's like I don't want to get close to you because you're gonna die, right? Maybe it wasn't that, or maybe it was. I don't know. Now, not now. The whole time, there's been, I do need to find my person before I die, because my mom was unmarried and not in a relationship. And it pissed me off that we had just gotten to the friendship stage, my mom and I, where we could talk about things like relationships or why she didn't date or why she dated the people she dated. Like, how the fuck did you end up with my daddy? Like, what was going on? Are you okay? Why you didn't say nothing when you seen the man I was dealing with was just like this nigga, and you just let me, hello, right? We didn't get a chance to analyze them together, and that pissed me off. Like, why would you die right now, girl? I'm trying to figure this out. I need your help, and you are gone. Thanks so much. But I still do not wish to die alone. But what Drake say, who the fuck wants to be 70 alone? My mom was 59 and alone. And I knew she hated it. She talked about it often, about how like she wanted a man, but she often spoke about wanting a man from the perspective of she wanted help in the house.
She wanted to do things alone.
Yeah, like she wanted help in the house. She wanted a help person financially, but it wasn't always from like a love perspective. So I didn't know. Yeah. I still kind of don't know what to do with that. But like I want my person, but also don't want to settle for my person. Yeah. And how do I know what's settling, what's not settling? Well, how do I know what stuff I'm supposed to tolerate, or like what's okay, what's not okay? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
You need the manual.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Either a mama or a manual.
And I think I probably needed a manual because I'm not wholly convinced that Loretta knew what the fuck she was doing.
I don't know that anybody did though. I say that like, my mother's death, my mom and my dad were married for 30 some odd years. Mm-hmm. That was part of the motivation, and I love them, and that's their business. Like, I ain't in that. But some of the things that I feel like were happening in my marriage, right, at the time, it felt like this was like my logic that I had. If I let you do this now, right, when I got all my agency and all my stuff, if you gonna act a fool now in my face, what would you do if I couldn't walk?
Right.
What would you do if I couldn't talk? I'm out now. That's part of the reason why I filed, right? Yeah. Because it was like, if you're playing my face now, you're playing my face at any time, right? But again, it's one of those things, kind of like we talked about with the friendship thing. People just be doing their own thing. And so as long as you're not lying, right? As long as you're not manipulating me, as long as you're not doing things to like harm me, you trying but bumping around and maybe doing the right thing, or, you know, maybe being 2 hands on, 2 hands off. We can work with that. We can work with that. As long as it doesn't involve as long as it does not involve dishonesty or stealing, manipulation, things like that. Oh my gosh,
stealing.
Yeah, we can get through that. We can get through that. But I don't know that anybody knows. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe not. But you know how like some people say like their moms taught them how to date, or somebody taught them. I don't know. This could be fairy tale-ish, but I know that some people experienced it. Like some people, experienced that they had the opportunity to like learn how to deal with the opposite sex from their parent. And so it's like, damn, I already didn't get that prior to my mom and I finally attempting to like garner her friendship. And now I really don't get it. So now I'm upset. I'm mad at everybody. And I kind of don't want to do this, but I like, where's my person? So I'm half expecting him to just be at my door like, right, God send me here. I am
from Amazon Prime.
Thank you. Welcome. Come on in.
Yeah.
Come on in. But that is so wholly unrealistic. It will not happen like that. And now, right, 5 years later, it's like, okay, Tiana, let us. Well, I've learned how to have grace with people.
Yeah.
Right. I have learned to lean on the Lord more.
Amen.
Right, and so have more discernment than I had before. So that's a thing. We are more comfortable letting people go now than before, because I think part of the issue in my last relationship, I didn't know when to let go. I was afraid to let go because I didn't want to be by myself, and I wanted a return on my investment into this relationship. But now, having a better understanding of, one, my worth, right? Let's start there. 2, I have more to give them I originally thought, not because I have more like capacity to give, but I understand what my source is. So I can give from that place and know that like I can continue to love people and I am not going to be depleted because my source is never ending, everlasting. I think I have a bit more, not necessarily patience for the dating process, but I have a bit more to give to it. Right. So I'm single.
Period.
If you're listening, if you're watching.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that.
But you can very clearly hear that I'm healing, so like, come heal.
Yeah, with a therapist.
But
that's the thing.
Ooh, that wasn't a requirement before. But now it is.
The other thing, though, is
you have to have a therapist.
They're not going to be healed. Come healing. Come actively with your own coping mechanisms, with your own therapist, healthy with your own how you do things. And I think that's something that me and had to learn was that like, you know, you are doing life with me, right? But not for me.
Not for me.
Right? And I got to deal with my shit. You got to deal with your shit. And we got to figure out how to make space for each other while we do that. Mm-hmm. And we did not have that capacity in the first time around. Mm-hmm. We just didn't have that. And to be honest, my parents were together. Like when my mom got sick and went through all of that. And that was hard to watch too, because again, my daddy didn't know what to do.
He didn't know what to do.
Right? His partner was dying.
You
know? And so there were some things in that I looked at and was like, you gonna put up with that? You know, I'm up in arms with my mom. But she was dying and she didn't want to be alone. She didn't want to lose her person. And I think the other part of that was she probably had experienced life enough to know that you got to give people grace. They had been married long enough to know that people are going to screw up royally, right?
Yeah.
But you got to give people grace. And so that's, you know, even though not immediately, but eventually, that's what grief kind of taught me, is to also give my partner some grace. But also let them know that I'm not the one or the two.
Yeah, BT does.
There are safer places to play. Atlanta traffic being one. And it's important that they know that. It's very important that they know that, you know, because I'll go through hell with you, not because of you.
That's a thing.
For sure. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I feel like I still have so much to learn in this space.
Bitch, I don't know shit.
I mean, yeah, but again, so much to learn.
Child, give it a mic. It's gonna be on here for 40 minutes.
What do you think?
That's what she said yesterday. Like, child, please. You're doing fine. Trust me.
Maybe. But yeah, knowing that I can get the fuck on, because at some point I am going to die, and I don't really gotta deal with that. So I'm gonna go.
How you want to spend your minutes?
How do you want to spend your minutes? We only have so many.
Yeah.
And we don't know how many that is.
And do I want to be dealing with that, right? So it's like when you are healthy and young and, you know, work is your priority or whatever else, you know, you can do all that silly stuff and argue about all that silly stuff, do all that, man. But listen, after a certain point, it's like my peace is, because stress kills people.
It does.
You know? And if you add in a bit too much of that too often, you got to go. You know what I'm saying? You cool.
And I love you. But like from over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are ways that you no longer want your grief to show? Like, you don't want it to show up like that anymore.
I just don't want my parents' relationship anymore. I think that when you have an example, you think that that's how it's supposed to be, and that's the only way that it can be. But this is like hard to say out loud but I'm not my mama.
You're not.
I love her dearly and I miss her dearly, but I think when she died, one of the ways my grief showed up in my intimate relationships was trying to be a woman to a man how she was. And that ain't really how I rock. You know what I'm saying? That don't really work for me. So I think that that's how I don't want it to show up in trying to be just like her or recreate what they had. again, I'm grown, and my relationship is my relationship, right? And I could have asked my mom for advice and all those things, but in the end, I'm grown. I can do what I want to do.
You can.
Wish she was here to ask, though. Would have saved me some money.
Honestly, truly.
Really would have saved me some money. Some money. Whew, so much money.
I think that I do not want my grief to show up by making me feel like I have to put up with shit I don't have to put up with for the sake of attempting to secure a person that will be around when I die. Like, no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That, and I also want to feel fulfilled on my own in the case that I don't find a person. Like, it's a thing that I can want, but it does not have to be a relationship does not have to be a mark of success for me. Like, it does not have to indicate that my life was well lived because I ended up with somebody. I don't want that.
Samesies.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Samesies.
I do want a person, though. Like, I would like to have kids and grandchildren that I can meet, because that wasn't a thing for me, and that won't be a thing for my kids. But, like, maybe we can do something for that fourth generation of folk.
Yeah, you can change it. Yeah.
I don't know, but that's where I am with it. Like, it's weird. The dating pool has pee and algae in it, and it's really rough in the streets for those of us who are still there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have any other good conclusions about this.
I don't know. I think people think
that there are supposed to be good conclusions.
Not only that, I think people think that people in relationship have it figured out. We also don't know.
Damn. Okay.
We're also just guessing.
Okay.
Literally. Literally. We're just trying to figure it out.
You know what? I would love to ask my godparents about this. They've been married for 40 years.
Yeah.
40-something years. My godmom's mom passed away first. My godfather, his mom passed away. His mom and dad passed away rather recently.
Yeah.
And I now wonder what things have changed for them in them. I'm going to ask. I'll update y'all.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm going to ask my daddy.
I want to know. Like, how do y'all feel now? Y'all don't got no mama to complain to about y'all marriage or ask questions to about your marriage.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they were married before either of them lost their mom. But I wonder if anything has changed now that it's happened.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, it changes. You know it changes.
You know
a
it
person.
changes. Yeah.
So it's definitely, you just don't know how. Yeah. But it's definitely, even if they don't, I would say that there was a time where I was like, I'm fine.
I'm so good.
Wasn't. But whether you realize it or not, it's affecting you. It's changing you. It is. It is. You know, when we just bumping our head, no mama, no manual.
No mama, no manual.
Ain't
just
nobody.
Out here.
Yeah. Single, together.
Whatever it is. Like,
breed together.
Still.
It be like that.
It does.
I didn't have a manual.
You didn't. There aren't any. Well, somebody probably wrote a book about it, but if they did, they don't know shit.
It wasn't my mama.
For real. So, sheesh.
Tell us. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when did your dad's mom pass away?
Oh no, not my dad's mom, but my grandma's still alive. My paternal grandmother. But I was gonna ask my dad because he was with my mom when her mom died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask him.
And my mom and her mom were super close. They were super close.
Dang. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Yes, please let us know. Keep us updated.
Yeah.
On that. I'll keep y'all updated on my godparents.
I've never thought about that. I've never thought about how. I'll have to sit with that. I'm gonna reflect on that. Trying to remember how my mom changed when her mom died. I was like 10 or 11.
Because you would still only have the perspective of how she changed towards you.
Yeah.
Because parents be trying to hide shit from their kids. So
yeah.
You wouldn't know how she changed. You can only assume.
Yeah.
And then you was a kid. Kids don't know shit. Kids are perceptive and know things, but not much though. Not much.
Well, they have the life understanding from where they are in life.
Yeah.
Right.
Which ain't real long.
Maybe no one's done.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Well, share with us, how did grief show up in your relationships? If you are in a relationship and if you are dating, like how has it affected your dating process? Help me. Help her. Help us. Help you.
Yeah.
Let's try something.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about that. Like that is it's so weird.
It touches every part.
Yeah. Your interactions with people change so much.
Yeah.
The way you view them, the amount of grace you decide to give or not.
It's just what you give grace for. So I think that's what I say, right? I have grace for human stuff. Like, not to say that lying, cheating, stealing, manipulation isn't part of, if you read the Bible, it's a human experience, right? But there's no grace for that. Right.
Absolutely.
You can do it. You just can't do it multiple times over here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that nuanced stuff where it's like what your life experiences, how they might have made you show up in a way that maybe is different than how I would have.
Mm-hmm.
We can work through that. We can talk through that. We can, that like, not intentionally being a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
I can do stuff with that. I can work with that. Right.
Mm.
It's difficult, but necessary.
It is difficult,
but necessary.
Do you think that the things you can work with are all based on like what the intent was behind the action, or is it the action itself?
It depends. Okay. If you lie, right? I don't care what you don't lie, right? You don't cheat, you don't steal, you don't manipulate. But if you if you really thought like there are things that me and talk about now, and be like, that made sense to you.
It did.
I want to know why. We're going to definitely have to talk about the why. I need the backstory. Trust me, the other side of that is true. Like, oh, Britt, that made sense to you. You thought that was a good choice. Like you out here thinking that makes sense. So, and friendships too. It'd just be like, oh, okay, well, what life experience did you have that made that you
okay and to your brain cells?
It like makes me curious. More curious about people in some ways, and then it's like, oh, you be lying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm burning that bridge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So remember a friend that I didn't hear from for months. Mm-hmm. So I was telling you earlier, but I'll share with the group that we were actually at a point where we were trying to transition our friendship into a relationship. And I think that was what made me so pissed off about the fact that he disappeared. Because if you at any point wanted to be my partner in life, why the fuck would you go away at a time like this? But like you said, that made sense to him in his brain cells.
And as his it sounds so terrible. That's why I be like, sometimes I be listening to my friends who aren't in relationships, and I just be like, the internet is ruining everything. Because those of us that are partnered, we be stressed too. Mm-hmm. I be stressed. I remember earlier I was like, is my hair thinning right here? Because it's a constant mirror, right? It's a constant, like, I have to look at myself. He got to look at himself. Mm-hmm. And then there are just like things that like you will never agree on. Mm-hmm.
Ever.
I'm gonna always be curious about some shit because like it's just never gonna make sense to me. But if that had been your partner, you would have had to have either been like, yeah, that's a no for me, right? Which is cool because that's your right, and you should have borders and boundaries with whoever, right? Or you had been like, okay, let's explore why. Let's explore that, and just beat the conversation to the ground till you start getting gray hairs in your unibrow.
You know what?
True story.
Brittany.
It was in my unibrow. Go ahead. What do I know? You know what? Go.
Gwen. My Gwen.
It's right there. So sad. It's on my face.
Okay. I was gonna say something.
You said, oh, you know what?
I don't remember. Oh, I thought of another way. I was trying to end this conversation, but I thought of another way that the grief shows up. So, I am very hard on myself because I feel like the weight of my mom's legacy rests on my shoulders. Ooh. And therefore, there is no space for fucking up because Loretta has died. Loretta died. You have no room to fuck up. You must be amazing. No grace, no mercy, no room for error. And it shows up in how I handle people. No room for error. Why would you fuck up? Why would you do that? That was fucked up. Why would you do that? I have no grace for that because I don't have any grace for myself. That is grief. That is a grief response. I should stop that. I'm going to stop that. I have a therapist.
If you want to.
She tells me to stop all the time. She actually cussed at me one time about it. Because
if you want to.
I be being mean to myself. And
you miss out on people. Good people who, they ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? It was people, again, thank God. Thank you, Lord, for helping me to restore some of my friendships, right? From when I was like just wrapped up in me. Right? But you miss out on good people. Not perfect people.
But good ones.
And you ain't perfect.
I know.
They tolerating some shit with you too.
Probably.
I tell you, I called Bree yesterday. We was chatting. I was like, I owe T a check because she really be putting up with me. I told our homegirl that yesterday. I was like, I know. I owe her money. She deserves compensation. They need a commercial for you. Okay?
Oh, commercial.
If you deserve compensation for being Brittany Nicole's worst friend, call now. You know? You deserve. I'm not going to give you the check, but you deserve one.
Somebody will pay me.
It's hard.
I am richly rewarded by our friendship.
People make space, and same goes for love. But that shit ain't perfect. It is not Instagram. Get off the internet.
Get off the internet.
But the other side, never mind. We're going to end this, but I will say,
what?
Sometimes you do got to leave.
For sure.
Right? Sometimes that's not your person.
Got to be in the fucking
Or sometimes it was your person, but it's not your person no more. And I'm not one of them Instagram preachers that be like, you can get through anything. There's some stuff you can't get through.
It was your person to learn from. It was your person to get you through that space. It was that person to help you learn something in that season. Okay, I could fuck with that.
People are doing the best they can. Unless they aren't, at which point you should leave them in your dust. But if they're doing the best, just be like, oh, you made me mad. And then call them later when you're not so mad.
Okay. I have a therapist. I'm working on it.
Shit.
We'll see what happens.
I got a therapist too. She do be taking money though. I was about to say she deserve a check, but she get one.
She get paid. Yeah. The people get paid enough. Money. I'm sure I don't pay my lady enough. Positive.
You know what's funny is that they let me be people lady.
You are the lady for people.
That's funny.
You don't know nothing, so don't do.
That's funny. I think I'm pretty good.
You know a lot of stuff. You earn your check, girl.
But it's like,
they should pay you more money.
Because your therapist is human too. That's wild.
It is wild.
That's good.
I'm sure my therapist
and your mama was human.
Lady. She was. We have to talk about that.
Your mama was human.
We will talk about that. Okay, not right now. Right now, we're going to end this because it's getting long. Yeah, so again, like I said, when I was trying to end it the first time, let us know how grief has shown up in your relationships, what that looks like for you, what you wish it wouldn't look like for you. I'm down to have that conversation too. We'll keep you updated on the questions we said we were going to ask, and join the community. If you know where to find them already, find us. If you don't, we'll post it for you. Okay? See you in the next one. Bye. Oh, love you.